Welcome to WCO Working Class Opera. What's your favourite episode of Feral TV?
I love to open episodes with references maybe one listener will get. I'm your host, Chris, and my Despy merch collection is not a shrine, no matter what anyone tells you.
And I'm your host, Bandexual Glitterotic, and I'm here to say it is a shrine. It is a shrine.
It's not.
It is a shrine.
It's
anyway.
Not. Anyway. Time for an episode where I talk a bunch about Despy anyway.
Yes, because he came back.
He came back. Oh my god.
He
Finally. Has been in top form since he came back. Like,
he really has.
Perfect from the get-go.
The look, the attitude,
the
whole weird thing with Robbie Eagles.
Yeah, well, he's getting back into shape after Kushida left him so suddenly.
But he was heartbroken.
Oh man, his little one-liner about Kushida leaving still breaks my heart, hey?
Oh, he's so dramatic. We do stan.
But speaking of him being dramatic, I loved him coming back in the gear that he died in because he's a zombie now or whatever.
Yes, I love that so much. High drama, and I love his new gear so much as well.
Yeah.
Drama. That boy is drag.
Like, I do miss the old pants because they're extremely iconic for a reason, but the new ones are also top tier.
Yeah, and just the way that the tassels just add to the movement, make everything so much more dramatic. I love it.
Yeah. I love the new jacket. I love the cracks on his jaw on his mask. I know he's going to be
nice.
He's going to be playing up that injury forever.
Oh yeah.
So, top form, incredible match, loving Despy back. But the real highlight of the night for King of Pro Wrestling was Suzuki versus Liger.
Oh my god.
Holy shit.
That is just
the peak of wrestling.
Yeah. Oh, I just love it. It really comes through in that match how dedicated they both are to wrestling.
Yeah.
It's like it runs through their veins. You can feel it, you can see it, you can smell it through the TV. Which is probably not a great thing, but it's so passionate.
Yeah, and oh my god, the ending. Holy shit. What a perfect ending to 30 years of beef. Like, show that match to someone with that guide that went up to their beef on Spectacle of Excess beforehand. And it's like, that's like a perfect introduction, I think.
Yeah, like if somebody doesn't like wrestling after watching that match, then it's just not for them.
Yeah.
It is a perfect match, and you don't get perfect matches in wrestling.
Yeah, just not just the perfect match, but like the whole storyline, and it's covered in the Spectacle of Excess article, so I'm not gonna like quote the whole thing, but like just how their lives have constantly like ended up coming back together, sort of thing. It's like you can't plan this stuff. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's really once in a lifetime.
Yeah.
And the little hint that it's not over yet.
Yeah. I'm thinking for New Year's Dash, it's either going to be Liger's final match is going to be singles against Hiromu or a stipulation match against Suzuki.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Hiromu, it's like the symbolic passing down to the next great junior of our era.
Yeah.
And with Suzuki, it's kind of a tying up of loose ends.
Yeah.
So either way you go, perfect.
Yeah. And then also, if they do a stipulation match specifically with Suzuki, then that leads into the impending Suzuki Gun breakdown into Taichi Gun.
Yeah, which we've been talking about for ages now.
Yeah, look, it's going to happen.
It is going to happen.
I don't know if back in the Kojima Gun era, people were really expecting them to become Suzuki Gun, but like here now in the Suzuki Gun era, we're obviously rapidly approaching Taichi Gun.
Yeah. But yeah, God tier match. 10 out of 10, 5 million stars, whatever.
Yes.
Really good. And there was also another interesting match that night.
Yes.
I mean, there was a few interesting matches that night, but Lance Archer versus Juice Robinson. How good was that?
Yes, it's fun. I love Good Time Boys.
It was so good, and Lance finally getting that big singles belt. I mean, I wouldn't really call the US belt big, but, it's a singles belt.
Yeah.
So. Golf claps.
I love him, like, taunting Moxley about it on social media as if Moxley didn't just drop it because of travel issues. I still think it's extremely weird they dropped it after one travel issue when it took months before they actually even had Hiromu drop his belt. They said fuck Moxley rights, I guess.
Yeah. But how good is it that we've got somebody who's just a big, nasty monster heel with a belt?
Yes.
Throw all the baby faces up against him. I love that. They're all going to splat into him like bugs on a windshield, and it's fine. It's great for a baby face.
Yeah.
It's like, how many times has Juice Robinson failed and we're still like, this bitch rules?
Yeah, he's got that really like unconquerable good boy spirit.
After that, we had the whole Evil versus Ibushi match. That was fun. It wasn't like the best ever.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was fine. I think like a lot of LIJ fans were disappointed that he didn't win, but it's not Evil's time to main event the Tokyo Dome, I don't think.
It's really not. They've got to fully crown Ibu as their new face because Tana is... He's not going to retire until he's like medically forced to, but you know.
Yeah. But anyway, after that, Kazuchika Okada versus Sanada again. Again.
Not feeling her.
Not feeling her. Look, I like Sanada as a comedy wrestler. I like him as a tag team wrestler. I even like him in like some singles matches, but against Okada, I just don't feel it.
Yeah, it's so nothing.
It really does bring back memories of Okada versus Kenny. It's just like, I get it. You're both athletic. I don't care.
Yeah, I want to feel something. I'm not interested in just being impressed by how fit you are.
Yeah, and it was good at the start when they had that whole, I'm not speaking, I want you to speak, I'll shove my Rainmaker dollars in your mouth and get really angry about it. That was fun, but now it's just kind of like fizzled out.
Yeah, it's really nothing.
It's really nothing, and I feel like LIJ at this point, either they're going to, like, either Naito's going to become double champion and they'll have this huge revival now that Hiromu's back and everything's good again, or they're going to break up very soon, because...
Yeah, I think most of LIJ are kind of spinning their wheels.
Yeah, exactly.
I know Hiromu's only just come back, but I think Hiromu is, like, completely incapable of spinning his wheels just because of how out there he is, but the rest of them are like, okay.
Yeah. Which is a shame because I like them all, maybe not Shingo, individually.
Yeah.
And it's just like, what is not working here?
Yes, I don't get it. Yeah, I can't pinpoint why it's not working, but it's just not.
Yeah, and it's like Gedo says no LIJ rights, but it's in the matches themselves. I feel like Sanada at this point, I think he wants to be a babyface.
Yeah, if you look at old photos, like, he is so deeply uncool.
He's so dorky. He
was so fucking dorky before he became Cold Skull.
Oh my god, do you remember the Kokomo video?
Yes.
I mean, he likes Beach Boys and Katy Perry and Tina Turner. Why are you a heel?
He's a Sanrio Danshi man.
Yeah. Oh my god, he's just... Yeah, can we just make you a babyface now, please? Because this is not working.
I would like to see Dorkia Sanada in New Japan.
Yeah, I mean, I get that when he re-debuted as Cold Skull, it was kind of like to break away from the TNA Sanada. But it's just like, at this point, we're no longer thinking of him as that TNA Seiya Sanada.
Yeah.
So, like, just do it.
Yeah, I mean, like, Evil, I think Evil could, like, not really do much and still be a face just because of how, like, adored he is and kind of not really seen as this huge threat, which is not really helped by Milano going full Wota over him every night. Yeah, but with all that, I don't know, maybe, like, Evil as he is wouldn't mesh well with, like, full-on Dorka Sanada.
Yeah, that's right. But it's like, Evil's concept as it is great. I love it. I don't have any issue with Evil, the character, or the wrestler.
Yeah.
I just feel like he doesn't have any well-fitting opponents right now.
Yeah.
Like, Ibushi in character is a great opponent for Evil, but the styles just don't work. Evil versus Okada, I love. Tana versus Evil, I love. But apart from that, it's just like, who else do we have? Who else is like a big baby face we can put him against?
Yeah.
Like Juice?
Maybe? I don't know. I guess.
Yoshihashi? We saw what happened the last time they had a singles match.
Yeah, I don't think we want that to happen again.
It was very funny, though.
It was funny.
But yeah, I don't know. I feel like there has to be a big shift in what LIJ is doing, because right now it's just not working.
Yeah, I expect we'll probably see that shift soon, depending on what happens at the Dome.
You know, the fans are only going to stay around so long.
Yeah. So, moving on from King of Pro Wrestling, holy shit. Power Struggle and Road 2 and Junior Tag League, etc., etc. Even me being a massive Despy stan aside, him and Nobu have been a real highlight of Junior Tag League.
Oh, they're so fun. I love them together. They just have great chemistry.
Yeah, like we were bitching and whining about, oh god, we want a Despy Doki. Why the fuck did you bring back Nobu? And then like watching them, it's like, oh god, I'm so sorry, Uncle Nobu, you're a genius. I should have never talked shit about you.
We're sorry, Nobu. We do stand.
Yeah, like Doki is good, and his matches, he did have a couple of like random tag matches teaming with Despy throughout Road 2, and they were great, but it's like, I think Doki just needs to be cooked a little more.
Yeah, put him under the grill for a bit longer.
Yeah, but I do hope also that New Japan really sinks their claws into him soon. I would like to see him become a regular, even if he's not ready to play with the big boys of the juniors, as it were. But yeah, please bring in Doki. Please sign him full time. He needs to eat.
Feed the puppy.
It's really tragic.
He really does need to eat more.
He needs to eat. And the ELP and 163 versus Suzuki Gun was a definite, absolute highlight of Junior Tag League for me.
That was so fun. I love Suzuki Gun versus other heels.
Yeah, like, they really are at their best fighting other heels.
Yeah, they're just pure chaos, and I love it. Oh, speaking of Bullet Club, though, how cute! how cute was 163 on Halloween coming up dressed as ELP?
It was so cute. It really suited him. I think they should gimmick swap.
Yeah, just full time. Give ELP the demon mask. Give 163. We keep calling him 163. Do people on our podcast know that he's 163 centimeters tall?
He is. I just think that's interesting.
I do think that's interesting. We love you, Ishimori.
We do love you.
Thank you for being 163 centimeters tall. It's good.
It's great.
I love it.
So, Junior Tag League, good. I just like the junior focus tournaments. We get two of them in a year, but it is nice to see them have fun.
Yeah.
It's been great seeing Bobby again, even if it means I have to look at Osprey. I just called him Bobby instead of Robbie. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I think everyone understands. Baby, Roby, Bobby, Robbie, Robert. It's all the same.
Big Robbie Eagles fans.
We are big fans of his wife too.
Yeah.
Speaking of his wife, him dressing up as Yo, his wife's favorite wrestler. The one she called like this handsome Ken doll when we talked to her.
Can we really out her on the show like this?
Yes, we can.
Oh my god.
Anyway, what else is good about Junior Tag League? Oh, I love seeing Waldor Jr. and Titan again.
Yes.
Oh, it's great to have some luchadors in the mix, even if they never do very well, but that's okay. I just like looking at Titan.
Even if a certain luchador who was meant to be there was not.
Please come back to us.
I feel like he will, but he's probably, after all that shit with CMLL, I don't know, taking some time to chill out and think about his next move or something.
Yeah, and plus he probably wants to make a big comeback versus Hiromu or something.
Yeah, probably.
We're talking about Dragon Lee, by the way. That wasn't obvious.
Speaking of comebacks and Hiromu came back!
Hiromu came back! Oh my god!
Finally, it's been so fucking long and he finally decided to show up.
I was like so on edge just waiting for him to come back, and it was just like, you finally did it! Oh my god!
Like, he's not going to actually wrestle until the Dome. Yeah. But it's good to know that, like, he's, like, still getting ready for it.
Just slamming himself into barricades and him doing the bridge.
Yeah.
Walking while doing the bridge.
Good.
It's just like, that is the most Hiromu way possible to say, my neck is fine, don't worry about me.
Yeah. I do wish it was against anyone but Ospreay.
Yeah, but unfortunately Ospreay is popular and the junior heavyweight champion, so let's talk about power struggle.
We are talking about power struggle.
Let's talk about the event power struggle, not just Hiromu.
Okay. Junior Tag League Finals. I think Suzuki-gun should have rights.
Yeah, I was so weird. I legit thought that they were going to win that. I was like,
I get that 3K are like the only consistent babyface team that juniors have, but I think Suzuki-gun should have rights.
Yeah, it was just a kind of moment to me.
And so then now that's another avenue for Despy to get to the Dome closed off. If Geto doesn't give me like a Despy and Hiromu singles on the second day or something, I'm going to flip out.
He has a teddy bear now. They can't.
Yeah, I know. That's like the measure of like if people give a shit about you, if they give you the stupid bear.
Yeah, it's like, who else in the juniors has the bear? Shoinyo,
Bushi and Hiromu.
That's it, isn't it?
That's it.
Like, he is popular boy.
He's a popular boy.
Put him in the Dome, Geto.
Please. And it's like, this isn't just me being like a feral stan. It's like him and Hiromu's matches are so intense and expressive. They're perfect Dome material.
Yeah, they're so explosive and interesting. Like, why would you not want to show that side to an audience of hundreds of thousands over 2 days? Not hundreds of thousands, like, in the Dome, but, you know, watching it online and stuff.
Yeah, they really bring out the best in each other.
But Ospreay flips, so...
Yeah, well, Hiromu's obviously going to win that one. So maybe he'll hold it until Super Junior, and then Despy can win.
You know, as a K-pop fan, I've really got to ask you to say best to the Super Juniors, because my brain just keeps going, sorry. But yeah, that was a match.
It was a match.
But let's talk about some other matches. So how about the Suzuki-gun versus LIJ match and Sanada pinning Zack Sabre Jr., the British heavyweight champion. And Zack flipping the shits.
Yeah, but even then, I don't know, Zack and Sanada is a poor man's Zack and Ibushi.
That's true, but Ibushi's busy, so...
Yeah, Ibushi's busy being a popular boy, so...
I'm happy to take it. It's still pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
And I wonder what this means for Zack on the second night, because, like, he's obviously going to retain, right?
He's got to retain.
I mean, Sanada as British heavyweight champion? I don't see it.
Yeah, it's always the guys who take it are always, like, Ishii and stuff, who are, like, super popular overseas.
Yeah, like guys who actually go to Rev Pro.
Yeah.
I mean, Sanada has been like a few times, but he's not like their guy in the way that Ishii is.
Yeah.
And then after that, Okada and Yoshihashi versus Ibushi and Tanahashi.
I really thought Yoshihashi was going to pin Tana. I really thought he could do it. I was so fucking excited.
I love that about Yoshihashi matches, honestly.
Yeah.
The fact that he almost gets it, and he doesn't. But the fact that we thought he was going to win almost makes it as good as him winning.
Yeah, like, it's almost catharsis.
Yeah, it's just like, we know you have it in you. You know, because it's like sometimes, you know, he just doesn't get his licks in, and it's just like, But when he does get his licks in, even if he doesn't succeed, it's at least like, yeah, take that, haha.
Yeah.
That's our little goat going, yeah, take that, haha. It's fun.
It's fun.
So even if he doesn't win, it's still fun. And I think the fact that he got his finisher off on Hiroshi Tanahashi is still a big deal, even if he didn't get the 1, 2, 3.
Huge deal.
Oh, I'm so excited. Oh, everything's coming up. Well, I wouldn't say it's coming up Yoshihashi, but it's coming up interesting at least.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Much to think about.
Much to think about with the Tetsuya Naito versus Taichi match as well.
Yeah. I'm not over how, like, weirdly clean that was.
Yeah, it was so clean and, like, honorable and short. It was like, huh?
Yeah, it's everything, like, especially considering I think the last Naito and Taichi singles was the one in Sapporo, where the pre-match was 20 minutes long because Naito decided he wanted to pretend to be dead.
Yeah, I mean, that's the kind of match I expect from Taichi. Like, I do like the, more or less clean matches that he has with somebody like Ishii, but that's because it's Ishii. It's like Taichi just trying to kick a brick wall down. That's entertaining. Taichi versus Naito, they've got such a deep chemistry and they're very similar in a lot of ways that it just...
Especially with all the build-up being like Taichi coaxing Naito into beating him up and spitting on him and stuff. I was like, oh my god, you guys are going to be so annoying. And then they weren't.
Yeah, I was expecting this to be brutal. I was expecting, tables and ladders and chairs, oh my. And it was just like, oh, they've been really honorable, good boys doing a proper match. Okay.
Yeah, extremely weird.
Very, very weird.
It's not over yet. Taichi is still obsessed with people from 10 years ago.
Fucking Maximo Sexy. Bringing Maximo Sexy up in 2019. Girl, are you for real?
He is for real.
He's for real.
And, like, I guess the fact that he still has these stupid, like, divorced couple arguments with Milano, and it's like, you guys were a team over 10 years ago. Yeah. Grow up!
I was like, what is going on here? Who are we going to find out next in Taichi's past that he's going to end up conjuring some sort of feud out of? Like,
he's going to drag Kawada out of retirement.
I swear to God, he really will, won't he? Anyways, how about Kenta versus Ishii?
Yeah, what the fuck?
I mean, it was just last month we were talking about how uninteresting Kenta's character was.
Yeah, and how it was great that I don't know if we mentioned it on here, but that it was good that Yoshihashi had a thing with him because then the focus could be on Yoshihashi because Kenta has no personality.
Yeah, and then out of nowhere he decides to put his WWE social media training into action with creating the Tomo hashtag and talking about how cute Ishii is.
Yeah, it's great. My standards for like you as a wrestler are that you gotta be gay or you gotta be weird as fuck. So he's ticked those boxes, so I like Kenta now.
Yeah, I love Kenta and I love Ishii, so fantastic. Great match. I like it.
Yeah.
Questionable, but wonderful.
Yeah. At least she's finally getting into the swing of things, unlike a certain other migrant from another promo.
Oh dear. Anyway, moving on. The IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship match. I can't believe Will Ospreay stole the fucking Muta poison mist suck out thing.
It would be such a power move if it was anyone but Ospreay doing it.
I know, I just feel like Bushi deserves so much money and like a restraining order after being by Will Ospreay. Anyway. I'm glad Bushi got a moment to shine. I'm glad that Hiromu came back. I'm sad that he challenged Ospreay, but it was gonna be like that anyway, so moving on. Hiroki Goto versus Jay White. Okay, straight up, there was no way Goto was in this because My Chemical Romance just came back. So Jay White is at like 200% power.
Yeah.
Like it was never going to happen before the match was set, and it's definitely not going to happen now.
Yeah.
Sorry, Goto. Love you, but just bad timing.
Not great.
Not great. How good was that lineup at the end, though?
Yeah, what was the go there, hey?
I just love, like, them calling out Kazu and him just, like, walking out, like, on his own time and being like, what? So, yeah, they kind of being like, why would I want that when I've got this? Why do I want the silver medal when I've got the gold medal, basically?
Yeah.
And, Jay being Jay, and Ibushi being Ibushi, and Naito being Naito.
Yeah.
How good was Okada going, hey, Naito, remember that one time?
Yeah.
Like, Naito hasn't been bitter as fuck ever since that fucking night. Like, that's been his entire fucking character for years, being butthurt over that one match.
Yeah.
Oh my god. If Naito doesn't win, the Tokyo Dome's going up in flames.
Yeah, people are going to actually riot. Like, I'm not even saying this as a huge Naito stan, it's just going to happen.
Oh yeah. LIJ fans are going to, they will straight up kill Geto.
So after a long and winding discussion about 2 fucking shows, let's get into our special feature for this week.
Yes, today we're going to be talking about something very important to understanding Hiroshi Tanahashi.
Yes. Like, not in just who he is as a person, but it goes really deep to the heart of his character as a wrestler. I think if you don't understand this, you cannot possibly understand Tanahashi.
Yeah, because this isn't just something that informs his aesthetic. It informs the way that he talks during promos. It informs the way that he fights. It informs the way that he forms rivalries, how he forms allies. Everything to do with Tanahashi is interlinked with
Kamen Rider!
Kamen Rider, baby!
Yeah, we weren't kidding last episode. Kamen Rider is quite integral to Tanahashi, and it has a lot of kind of fandom crossover appeal with wrestling. And there's been a lot of migration lately with Kamen Rider fans getting into wrestling, fueled in part by Tanahashi being in a Kamen Rider movie a couple of years ago. But there isn't really migration in the opposite way with wrestling fans getting into Kamen Rider.
Which is a shame, because I think, like, a lot of things that people love about wrestling, they would love about Kamen Rider.
They would adore it. If you like Tanahashi, which is like every New Japan fan, you are doing yourself a massive disservice by not checking out Kamen Rider.
Yeah, let's do a quick little rundown of what Kamen Rider is.
Yes.
For our listeners. So, Kamen Rider is...
The fandom meme description of Kamen Rider is Japanese Power Rangers, but with karate bugmen.
Yeah, it is basically the big sister show to Super Sentai, which is what Power Rangers is based off.
Yes. It is designed for a slightly older audience, but when I say older, I mean Sentai is like for 4-year-olds and Kamen Rider is like for 7-year-olds.
Yeah, it's still very much a children's show, but that doesn't mean that it's like empty jokes and do-good morals. Like, there's plenty of that, don't get us wrong. But I would say that it's more similar to...
Don't people hold up that Batman cartoon as being a really good example of, like, just a cartoon in general? Is it like that?
There's a lot of
Batman the Animated Series.
Oh yeah, Batman the Animated Series. Yeah, that's pretty similar. I'd say something like that, maybe crossed with Doctor Who, because Doctor Who was a kids show.
Yeah.
So I'd say it's probably somewhere in themes, even pretty similar to those two as well.
Yes.
But yeah, so just because it's a kids show doesn't mean that the writing isn't fantastic. Doesn't mean that they don't go into things like slavery, into what happens after you die.
Yes.
Into, very, very adult themes, really. Like, there's an entire series that's based on misunderstanding and miscommunicating with your friends.
Yes. Obviously, it's not deep cinema or anything, but I think broadly it tends to handle those themes with tact and not in, like, a condescending kids show way. So basically, get any ideas of it being for kids out of your mind, because wrestling's also for kids.
Yeah, basically when we say it's for kids, we just mean that it's not gory, like there is blood, but you're not seeing like organs coming out of weeping holes and stuff like that, and there's no sex.
Yes.
That's pretty much it. You're looking at something that is about as dirty as Shrek.
Yes.
Anyway.
In
reference to Tanahashi.
Yes, we'll give you a quick rundown of the 4 Kamen Rider shows that kind of make up Tanahashi's character and how they link together to become Tanahashi. Because Kamen Rider, I think, is hanging out across all of its different shows at about 1,500 episodes now. You don't have to watch them all, but at the same time, you can't go, oh, what's a good episode to check out?
Yeah, and besides, episode lengths, they're only 20 minutes long.
Yeah. And if you're watching like 3-hour-long New Japan shows a couple times a week, like you can make time for some Kamen Rider episodes.
Yeah, you can easily knock out an entire 50-episode-long series of Kamen Rider in like a week or 2 if you wanted to.
Hell, if you didn't have anything to do, you could do it in a weekend.
That's true. But yeah, they are aired over a year, hence the 50-episode length. So if you wanted to get like the real experience, you could watch it week by week. The currently airing series is 01, which I highly recommend. It's only up to episode, 9 right now?
9 sounds right. It's written by a newcomer to the genre, Takahashi, who wrote Eggzade also, which is a personal favorite Kamen Rider of ours.
Yeah, it's very fun.
Yeah. So Takahashi's writing is unconventional for Kamen Rider. He tends to get into ethical issues. Eggzade had a lot of medical ethics undercurrents, who gets to decide who lives and who dies sort of thing. 01 is based around AI and automation, so it gets into those usual genre conventions about labor and slavery and stuff like that.
Yeah, which is, you'd think, like pretty deep for a kid's show, but when you get down to it, like bare bones, like isn't this the kind of thing that you watch in, My Little Pony? It's just portrayed in a slightly darker way, which is fun. We love it.
Yes, but we will cover the kind of not Tana shows a little bit, but Tana's main 4 shows are in the order you should watch them: O's, Drive, Kabuto, and Decade.
Yes. So, O's. Let's start with O's.
O's is considered one of the best, if not the best, starting points.
Yeah, even if you don't watch it as a starting point, it is still a fantastic show. We're not just saying this is just for beginners.
Yeah, no matter when you watch it, it is so, so good. It's written by one of Kamen Rider's staple writers. They don't have the same writer every season. They shuffle it around a bit. But Kobayashi, she does work on both Kamen Rider and Sentai, and her series all end up iconic because she handles, I don't want to say darker, her series aren't dark, but they get into mature themes tactfully in a way that kids will understand.
Yes, and she's also a god with writing personal relationships in a relatable and realistic way.
A lot of the times the actual plot of her shows tends to be a little weak, but the character dynamics are god tier. It's really brilliant, like slow burn or whatever.
Especially with the main 2 characters of O's.
Yes, they are her masterpiece of everything she's ever written.
Yeah, so the main character, O's himself, the Kamen Rider, is Kino Eiji, and his partner, rival,
frenemy, boyfriend,
yes, is a disembodied German bird arm
who is 800 years old
and made of metals. Oh, this is a very interesting show, yes.
It's interesting, but the first episode really establishes what it is quite cleanly. It's very easy to watch. You're never guessing.
Yes, it's one of those shows where everything's laid out for you from the very first episode, but it goes back and fills in all the blanks as you go along.
Yes. As for how O's relates to Tana, in an interview a while ago, Tanahashi said that despite everything, the Kamen Rider he relates the most to is Eiji. And I think this is something that relates more to Tanahashi the person than Tanahashi the wrestler. Because yes, Tanahashi the wrestler will come into play later in this watch order. But I think with Tanahashi's image of himself as kind of the idiot hero, the kind of unexpected savior of New Japan or whatever. I don't know if he thinks of himself as that, but he did save New Japan all those years ago. And with Eiji's kind of background that's spoilers, so we're not going to get super into it, I think it makes sense.
It does make sense. So anyway, O is fantastic, but let's talk about the relationship between AG and Unk, and let's talk about the visuals in particular.
AG, his clothing aside, is kind of an unremarkable guy. Early 20s, fluffy hair, whatever. Unk is himself a monster. He's just an arm because he fucked up the revival process because he was 800 years old and sealed away. He possesses a dying guy, and the dying guy looks normal as hell, but once Unk possesses him, he gets like this edgy kind of J-punk fashion. His hair gets long and flowy and curly, and he has an undercut on one side. And Unk is really obviously red themed.
Yeah, red skinny jeans, flamboyant shirts and jackets that he likes to wear. And it's just very much
this really aggressive hothead who can't stand this idiot he's stuck with. And he's just going to keep doing it his own way, and then slowly they come to understand each other, and they kind of get closer in personality. And oh my fucking god, Tanahashi, who could you possibly be thinking of?
I just don't know. It's not coming to me. Like, girl, this could not more obviously be him and Shinsuke if he wrote it out himself.
Yeah, and he has written it out himself for other Kamen Riders, but we will get to that later.
Yes, because with Unk and AG, like, it is very heavily implied that it becomes a romantic thing at the end, especially once, spoilers, they get to like each other. They don't spend the entire season hating each other.
Yes, it's one of the kind of universal ships of Kamen Rider. A lot of the time, if you talk about, like, oh, these two characters are gay, the fanboys will jump down your throat and say no, they're not. But if you say, like, oh, Unk and AG are gay, they're like, yeah, they are.
Yeah, because it's just part of the storyline.
Yes. It's not out and out quote unquote representation, but you know, if you're after gay themes in your media, hello. As just an aside, while we're talking about O's, a certain someone from back when O's was airing in 2010 was a young lion, and Tanahashi described him. Tanahashi, the person who won't shut the fuck up about Kamen Rider, described this little lion as the kind of person who only wants to talk about Kamen Rider. He is lost to us now, mysteriously vanished in Mexico, but, you know.
I do wonder whatever happened to that. What was his name? Kyo? I don't know.
And then also, Hiromu would roleplay Forze with Tana on his blog as well. So cute. I think just that class of young lions, I think Tana just cornered them and was like, hey, let's watch Kamen Rider.
And it seemed to have worked for them, so...
Yeah.
It's proof. If you want to become a good wrestler, watch Kamen Rider.
I'm serious. You will understand so much about, like, passionate drama between men.
Oh, for real. Okay, so let's talk about the next show that you should watch. Kamen Rider Drive.
Yes. Drive is, to be honest, neither of our personal favorites. But that's not to say it's bad.
Yeah, I mean... It's hard to find a really, truly horrible Kamen Rider series. They all have their ups and downs. Some of them are better than others. There's no one singularly hated... Okay, maybe Kiva. There's... apart from Kiva...
And even then, Tana
I don't think...
Kiva.
Oh my god, Tana loves Kiva. Even putting aside Kiva, which I think people mostly hate because it's basically Kamen Rider Twilight.
Yeah.
Putting aside Kiva, I don't think there's like a single show that people can outright say is like objectively bad.
Yes.
And Drive, even though it's not one of our favorites, it's still fun. It still has its fun moments. It has interesting characters sometimes.
Yeah. So Drive is getting into Tanahashi, the character now. Oz is the only one based on him as a person. The rest are, look, I'll be honest, he's kin.
Yeah, it's very much kinning.
So Drive is about a lazy traffic cop who kind of lost his drive after a colleague was injured in a mysterious incident several years ago.
And then he becomes a superhero and fights evil robots. It's not groundbreaking.
It's not groundbreaking stuff. The groundbreaking stuff for Drive is every Kamen Rider has a belt that they use to transform. The belt in Drive is alive.
Yeah, it's alive and it talks and it has a really sexy voice.
And people ship the belt with the rider.
Yeah. And by belt we mean like it's literally a belt, like a belt that you wear around your waist to keep your pants up.
He's named Mr. Belt and everything.
Yeah. It's a thing. Kamen Rider fandom is not as weird as Kamen Rider the shows, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. So Drive is, if you are interested in analyzing media and you're like left-leaning, Drive has some robo-ethics that will leave a bad taste in your mouth. But also it's gay, so who can really say if it's bad or not?
Truly.
Drive gets extremely close to canon representation.
Yes.
Brain is all but confirmed actually gay.
Yeah, and the main villain, again, Tanahashi.
The main villain who gets a bit homoerotic with our straight-laced hero main, wears red leather and has long hair, which is short on one side.
He's really tall and handsome.
He's so tall and so handsome, and towards the end, they don't really overcome their differences because it's hero and villain, but they have a kind of mutual understanding of each other.
And they say their farewells and everything's like, Tanahashi, please.
It's really tragic.
It's, oh my god. So if you've seen Tanahashi's entrance at Wrestle Kingdom 9 at the start of 2015, you probably noticed that he had like a lot of speed and car-themed imagery, like revving tachometers and tire kind of design on his jacket. On his jacket. It was very close to being straight up Kamen Rider Drive cosplay.
Yeah. Like, cosplaying riders, incorporating them into his gear is not new, but the Drive one for Wrestle Kingdom is, like, his most obvious.
Yeah, it was very blatant, which is great. I think it does suit him as a wrestler very well.
Yes.
Because it's kind of like his own colours anyway.
Yes. And also with Drive, he's quite fond of the secondary Go, who is, I don't want to say showmanship, but he's a show-off.
Oh yeah, he's a big show-off. You know, in the actual show itself, he brings fireworks and sets up lights on screen, like in universe, to set them off and to be like, "Hi, I'm Kamen Rider Mark," and you know the rest of the characters are like, "Are you serious?"
Yeah, and then Go himself has a really angsty, overwrought relationship with one of the villains, which starts as hate and turns into a kind of love. It's not quite Shinsuke parallels, but it's like, Tana, I'm getting a bit of a vibe in what you like.
Yeah, he doesn't try to hide it, does he?
No. But Drive's writer, Sanjo, also, he quite writes to the conventions of the genre really well, and if people think Heisei 2 Kamen Rider, Kamen Rider's Heisei era is split into two parts. Heisei 2 is really easily defined by Sanjo.
Yes.
If you think Heisei 2, you think of Sanjo's tropes.
Yes, exactly. He's bold with his themes. Like, he doesn't mince words.
Yes. Though, whether that turns out well...
It kind of depends, yeah.
So the first two are kind of your introduction to sort of normal Kamen Rider, as it were. But that said, with these first two, I think before getting into the second half of the Tana ones, if you want to just watch the Tana 4, that's fine. But if you want the full Kamen Rider experience, I recommend checking out a couple of series that you think sound good.
Yeah.
Not just because we recommended them. Because Kamen Rider covers a lot of topics, a lot of themes, a lot of characters. You could go back and watch the stuff from the 80s if you wanted.
You've got Forze, which if you are somebody who is into like shonen anime, like My Hero Academia, if you're into shonen high school kind of themes, you will love Forze. You will recognize all the tropes in Forze. It'll be a great time. That's also a good place to start off if you're new, so that you might throw that in maybe second or third or something like that. You'll have a great time. And then you've got something like Fies, which is very much more of a drama.
Yeah, it's like a TV drama where at the end they transform and fight.
Yes. And so, like, there are a few of the earlier shows that are quite similar to that, like Cougar, Agito, Blade. They're all very much more TV dramas. A lot of the earlier Heisei era shows tend to be more on the drama side.
Yeah. While Heisei 2 is like a live action anime, basically.
Yeah, it's a lot more, very more action-filled, less on the interpersonal drama, which is great, but some people prefer the drama, some people prefer the fighting.
Or if you want to go back to the 80s, then that's like pure camp, like if you're into the old Godzilla movies and stuff.
Oh yeah, the 70s and 80s Kamen Rider, it's full-on Thunderbirds Are Go, Godzilla movies, it's wonderful.
But if you're specifically watching Kamen Rider just to understand Tanahashi, then as kind of a precaution, because they will become relevant later, I recommend checking out Blade and Den-O.
Yes.
Blade is one of the serious drama ones. It's kind of held together by love and luck. You can tell that the budget was on a shoestring, but it's like once it finds its feet, it's a really beautiful, solid show that like tackles some really great themes, and it has like the best ending in the history of media. No TV show has an ending as good as Blade's.
If you spend any time around Kamen Rider fans, you've probably seen a still image of a park bench, and you'll be probably wondering, like, why are people crying over a bench? It's because of Blade.
Yeah, watch Blade and you will understand.
You will understand the bench.
The other show I recommended, Den-O, is kind of Kamen Rider's first foray into the really anime side. It's light-hearted, fluffy, plotless comedy.
Yeah.
It's just fun non-stop, like a sugar rush of a show, basically.
Yeah, so if you're really into that comedy styling, if you're really into like some fun, silly antics, go watch Den-O. It's one of the most popular Kamen Rider shows for a reason.
They are still milking it over 10 years later.
Yeah.
It prints money. Very strong, like, character comedy.
Yes.
Yeah, just to say quickly, I recommend those two because they have kind of canon epilogues in one of the other Tana shows. So it's like, if you want the full canon experience, watch those. Anyway, moving on to the experimental Tana shows, as it were.
Yes, so obviously, if you know anything about Tanahashi, if you've spent any time on his Twitter, if you've looked at Tanahashi, you probably know that his favorite Kamen Rider is Kabuto. You might not know what that means, but you probably know it.
Yes.
So Kabuto came out in 2006?
Yes.
Right?
It was one of the anniversary series. I think the 30th anniversary series.
Yeah, so 2006, he starts doing this iconic pose. It's kind of like that he's pointing in the air, but the hand's kind of loose. It's a very relaxed point. And that is Kamen Rider Kabuto's signature pose.
Yes. Unique among riders, even because riders' signature poses are usually a bit more action-y, dynamic, and Kabuto's just standing there.
It reflects Kabuto, or Tendo, the main rider, to a T.
Yes.
Like, it just says everything about him. Unlike the rest of the Kamen Rider, even to this day, there has not been a rider like Tendo, before or since, or before they were stronger, but that's like in the Heisei era.
Yeah.
There hasn't been anyone like him. He's very calm, controlled, everything goes his way. Even when it doesn't, he's not bothered. He works around it.
And even when it doesn't, it's gonna be like, oh, actually, it worked out for him all along.
Yes, teleports behind you.
Yeah, that's literally what he is. To be blunt, he's a Mary Sue.
Yeah, but a very entertaining one.
Yeah, it's like he is God mode, and his secondary, normally with the second riders in Kamen Rider, they're kind of serious and standoffish and kind of mean compared to our nice boy hero. But our Kabuto, our secondary, is this ordinary everyman who's trying so hard to become a Kamen Rider. Because in Kabuto, the belts are semi-sentient. They choose their users. If someone isn't worthy, they can't transform.
Yes.
He's been training to become Kabuto, and then Tendo shows up and he's like, oh, I'm Kabuto now.
Yeah.
And to claim his own belt attack, he has to train for a long time and almost dies in the process.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal. Hey, Yoshihashi.
He's Yoshihashi.
He's Yoshihashi. Oh my god. He's
It's
Yoshihashi.
much to think about.
Hmm.
But yeah, Tendo speaks quite arrogant and cryptically. In one of the early episodes, he's captured by police, and they ask him, "Are you Tendo Soji?" And he says, "Do you face the sun?" And ask, "Are you the sun?" They ask him something else, and he's like, "Do you face the sun?" And ask, "Why do you shine?" He's just like that the whole way, and Tana kind of reflects it. So Tanahashi, with his Tendo-kinness, obviously with Tendo's cryptic lines, he kind of adopts them himself. Back in the G1 last year, he had a promo talking about, like, "I shine brighter than any light. I may even be light itself," which sounds like something Tendo would have said after doing something stupid.
Yeah, it is a very, very heavily Tendo line. I think anyone who has seen Kabuto would pick up immediately that it is very heavily Tendo inspired, because a lot of things that Tendo say are about him being the sun.
Yes, he's the sun or God or walking the path of heaven or whatever.
Yes.
He's a pseudo deity.
And I think that's something that is reflected a lot in Tanahashi's character.
Yes, especially now that he's full face. I think the godliness becomes more apparent when he is just like that, like Tendo is, instead of he's kind of like an arrogant dickheel.
Yes. So the arrogant part of Tendo's character and Tanahashi's character is very much we're not seeing in Kabuto that Tendo is doing this as an act. He just honestly believes it.
Yeah.
Because it's true. And that's very much, I think, what Tanahashi believes as well. At least Tanahashi, the character.
Yes. But for all that discussion, we haven't actually touched on Kabuto's plot, which we kind of can't really do. It is actually experimental. It alternates between our almost horror involving like body snatching by worm aliens and then Iron Chef.
Yeah, the Iron Chef bits are my favorite.
Cooking is a massive theme in Kabuto. Tendo is always cooking for someone. This isn't really related to Tana also, but there's some antagonists who show up quite late on in Kabuto. We're trying to keep our plot discussion to a minimum to avoid spoilers, but some antagonists show up later on in the mid-30 episodes in Kabuto, and it's like, this is just Despy and Taichi.
It really is. It really is. It's
like, you will
hilarious.
see them and you will understand immediately this is Despy and Taichi.
It's, yeah.
Annoying.
So annoying. Kabuto is one of those shows that if you don't watch it, you don't get it. And you don't get Tanahashi, in my honest opinion, because his character is so informed of Tendo's character.
Yeah, they're basically the same thing.
Yeah.
I can't blame him. Kabuto's good, but man, like, I want Tendo to be my big brother too, but that's a bit much.
Yeah, he's really intense with it. And I think the only other character that he kins so fiercely in the ring, and not so much now, but back when he was more of a tweener, is Kamen Rider Decade.
Decade is... I know we just said, oh, Kabuto is so unique, you couldn't possibly describe it, but that's also Decade.
I think Decade is a little bit easy.
It is. Decade is the 10-year anniversary of Heisei, not of Kamen Rider as a whole. It covers the last 10 years of Heisei with our protagonist, an extremely arrogant amnesiac, who is told out of nowhere that he is the destroyer of worlds. So he travels between worlds based on the past 10 years of Kamen Rider, and also a few from the 70s, to kind of make them not be destroyed.
And meets a lot of opposition on the way, because obviously they're like, this guy's the destroyer of worlds. And he's like, no, I'm here to say, no, okay, you're going to keep attacking me. Okay, well, then I'll be bad.
Yeah.
So you want me to be bad, then I'll be bad.
Yes, it is actually a deconstruction. I know deconstruction has become a bit of a meme word since the days of Madoka, but it is an actual deconstruction of Rider, and it's done so lovingly. The AUs for each Rider are very extreme AUs. They take the bare bones concept and completely remix it. There's virtually no returning actors except for Blade and Deno, as I mentioned. There's no similarity of setting or anything. So they take the base idea of the Rider and remix it into something unrecognizable.
Yeah, which is a very interesting take on it, because you can watch Decade without prior knowledge of the writers that came before it, but
you would be missing so much.
Yeah.
And because of that remix nature, it's a very divisive show. You either adore it or hate it. People who hate Decade hate Decade.
Yeah, people were big mad about it, even though the main character is probably the biggest Kamen Rider fan in the world.
Yeah, back when Drive was filming, he would show up on set some days just to watch them film. He wouldn't do anything, he'd just sit there and watch. I've got some free time, so I'm gonna look at some Kamen Rider.
Yeah, I mean, wasn't that how he got Tsukasa in the first place? He just showed up on the Kiva set and was like, hi.
Did he do that? I hadn't heard that story.
I'm pretty sure that he just did that.
He is still hugely popular as a character to this day.
Yeah, he shows up in crossover movies. He showed up in the last year's actual Kamen Rider series.
Which was the 20th anniversary of Heisei.
Yeah, so very thematic there.
The thing is, he was originally meant to show up for a couple of episodes, but they couldn't fucking get rid of him, so he became a major plot point.
Very typical. Yeah, like this guy, when we say he is a big Kamen Rider fan, he's like, there is no bigger Kamen Rider fan.
Yeah, even Tanahashi, it's like you lose to Decade's actor, man.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
As for Decade as a character and why Tana kins him, describing Tsukasa as arrogant is accurate, but I feel like lacks a lot of nuance.
Yes, like Tsukasa is arrogant not in the way that Tendo is arrogant. Tendo is arrogant because he's very well trained. He's practiced for every possible situation. Tsukasa just finds himself magically good at everything, except photography, and uses the fact that he's magically good at everything to do what he wants.
Yeah, he can just take things easy because it'll always turn out in his favor.
Yes, and because of that, he's very aimless.
Yes, he's got depression.
Yes, he got the depression. And it's very interesting to see a wrestler like very obviously kin with him, because Tsukasa's entire character is basically, I don't know what I'm doing with my life. I'm obviously good at everything, so why is nothing going my way?
Yeah.
Which is like very appropriate for a Tanahashi in 2000s era New Japan.
Yes, and also Tsukasa, even though he's arrogant and hated by almost everyone he meets, Tsundere also doesn't capture the nuance of his relationships with people. But he's very soft at heart.
Yes.
He cares very hard, but he can't show it.
He's not arrogant in the way that Tendo is. He's not pushing people away passively the way that Tendo is, just by force of personality. Tsukasa is actively pushing people away because he's scared of what will happen to them.
Yes.
Because he is dangerous.
But he doesn't know why.
Yeah, he doesn't understand why these things keep happening.
That said, back to Decade's experimentalness. It doesn't really end. The TV ending is a cliffhanger, which is sort of resolved, but sort of not, in a movie that came out like half a year later. And then it's got kind of like AUs, but also continuances in crossover movies for other writers. And then also him showing up in Zio 10 years later. Decade's kind of a never-ending story.
Yes, which is, again, very appropriate for a wrestler, I think.
Yes. And this is not really Tanahashi, but Decade is also one of the Word of Actor gay series, in that the secondary writer is madly in love with and obsessed with Tsukasa. And his actor has repeatedly clarified he's in love in a romantic way, and the directors actually have to tell him, please stop pretending to be a jilted ex. And he's like, no, I'm Tsukasa's ex. I'm going to keep being in love with him.
Yeah, and I think if you took that away from his character, it wouldn't really make sense why he's acting that way.
Yes, there's several characters in Kamen Rider where it's like, well, you might not have done it on purpose, but this character only makes sense if they're, like, gay.
Yeah, it's very much one of those, you can choose to read it another way, but if you're reading it that way, we're not getting the same experience out of this character.
Yes. Tana doesn't really have an equivalent of Daiki in his wrestling career, but it's just a fun little fact about Decade. It's so good.
It's really good. Oh god, though, speaking of love, and speaking of Tanahashi,
Yes.
Ryuki.
Yes, let's get into Ryuki. So Ryuki, you know Ryuki if you're into anime at all. You may not know it by name, but you have watched shows with the tropes it codified.
Yes. Madoka being a pretty much word-for-word rip-off of Ryuki, just with magical girls.
I'm pretty sure Fate Zero was quite heavily based on it as well. They're both written by Urabuchi, so I think Urabuchi likes Ryuki.
I think he does, especially considering Gaim.
Yeah, which was also just Ryuki, but worse.
But anyway, Tanahashi has gone on record to say that his relationship with Shinsuke Nakamura, like, he basically force-kinned Nakamura as the secondary rider of Ryuki and himself as the lead, which is like,
Yeah, Ryuki is like our bumbling, lovable idiot hero. And Ren, the secondary, has codified secondary tropes for years to come. Half of every secondary rider in Kamen Rider is just a Ren knockoff.
Yeah, he's cold and he's spiky, he's mean on the outside, but it turns out that he's actually quite soft and loving inside, even if it takes a lot to make him show it.
It takes a really long time. Calling him tsundere or dandere or whatever, it feels like it doesn't emphasize how little of the softness you see.
Yeah, like, we're not going from cold tsundere to warm, loving dere. We're going from, like, cold tsundere to, like, slightly less cold tsundere.
Yeah.
It's a very tragic character.
Getting into Ryuki's plot, which we will not spoil, it's very tragic, and if he's calling him and Shin, like Shinji and Ren, it's like, what are you guys planning for, like, how you're gonna end it?
Yeah, because it is very tragic and it's also deeply homoerotic.
Yeah, Shinji and Ren have been the template for rider dynamics for years to come for a reason.
Yeah, they're...
Calling a dynamic Shinji and Ren is like almost the hanky code of rider. It's like, you know what this is about.
Yeah, even though it's difficult for us to explain it without spoiling Ryuki and spoiling a lot of rider shows, it's one of those shows where if you see it, you'll immediately understand and you will see references to it in basically every Kamen Rider that comes after it.
And if you're into anime at all, once you watch Ryuki, if you watch a bunch of anime and it's like, oh my god, this is just Ryuki.
Yeah, it is a very, very popular show. Yeah, it codified so many tropes.
Some very, other important stuff for wrestling. Oh, also, not really with Tana, but like how I mentioned how he cornered certain young lions into watching Kamen Rider. You'll notice other wrestlers having rider gear. One of them being Bushi.
Oh yes, Bushi with his Exade mask.
Exade mask, build mask, 01. Yeah, so Bushi, our goth queen, who's, endlessly perfect, watches Kamen Rider.
Yeah.
And loves it enough to get gear made on it.
Yeah, that's, oh my god, a really cute gear too.
His gear is fantastic. I miss the Exade mask.
It was really, really cute. Oh my god. And like, this isn't... Oh my god, actually, can I bring up Ultraman for a second?
Oh yes, the pic of Shinsuke and Ultraman.
Yes. One thing that is really funny about Kamen Rider and Shinsuke Nakamura and Tanahashi's rivalry. Shinsuke learning how to do the rider dropkick just because Tanahashi can't.
God, I can't believe we forgot that.
Oh my god.
Like, every single Kamen Rider does a kind of drop kick. It's very iconic. The rider kick. Tana tried to teach himself for a year, couldn't do it, so Shinsuke learned it. But then also, back to Kabuto. Kabuto doesn't have the drop kick. He does a roundhouse kick, which Tanahashi adopted.
And he was very, very happy about it. He was like crying on his blog, like, I can't believe they finally put out a rider who does a roundhouse kick that I can actually do. Like, my life is now complete, blah, 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 blah. So that's why Tanahashi really likes Kabuto.
Yeah, because we're kind of refusing to dig into the plot too much, because Rider, you really need to kind of get your teeth into it and then discuss it with fans. We're kind of not selling much on the plot because this is about how it relates to Tana, but Rider is a really fun experience, even just as it pertains to wrestling, but also as its own thing.
Yeah, it's fun, it's uplifting, it's not so dark and gloomy as everything on TV seems to be.
Yeah, like Rider does have some pretty bittersweet endings. Blade and O's come to mind.
Yeah, but it is a fantastic series to get into. I think if you're a fan of passionate drama between men and fighting and the concept of suited heroes, then you've got to give it a go.
Yeah.
Because it's everything you can imagine and more.
Wrestling and Toku really are like very, very close sister genres.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like you especially Kamen Rider and New Japan, you basically cannot have one without the other. Yeah. I don't know what Tana fans who aren't into Rider, like, I don't know how they conceptualize his character. If nothing else, if you don't feel like committing to the minimum 200 episodes between the Tana 4, at least just watch O's. It's not the most Tana relevant series, but I think even just O's, you start to get a grip on what Rider means and how it can really hook into Tana's character, and just that alone is going to give you a so much deeper understanding of what he's about.
For sure. Like, even if, like you said, even if you don't watch everything that we've recommended, which I still highly recommend that you do.
Yes.
Just watching O's, it can at least give you more of a well-rounded idea of Tanahashi's character and his motivations, and maybe even kind of figure out where he will go next.
Yes. Obviously, everyone sees himself as the hero of their own narrative, but Tanahashi sees himself as the hero of everyone's narrative.
Yeah, exactly. He's the hero of New Japan. He's the main rider.
He really is.
And he's kind of without a secondary at the moment, but
he's
been
without a secondary for a long time. Well, Okada bit.
Okada
maybe
was his secondary. And
Okada
then Shinsuke was his secondary.
Yeah, Shinsuke is his eternal secondary, but I think Okada functions fine as a secondary.
Yeah.
Well, I think today is going to end up quite a long episode, but that's okay. I'd call it a double feature. So, obviously World Tag League's coming up, so maybe you don't have quite as much time to watch Kamen Rider, but in the lull before Wrestle Kingdom, try and get O's down.
Yeah, it's easy enough to do. With the episodes only being 20 minutes long, you can watch it on your commute, on your lunch break, whatever. Yes. It's easy enough. Watch it with friends as well. It's a great time.
It's a great time with friends. It's fun, and it'll give you something else to watch, like in the month-long breaks after the chill, whatever.
Yeah, it'll give you something else to watch while you're waiting for more wrestling.
Yeah, you can't eat meat all the time. That's not a balanced diet.
But you can eat fruit.
Don't eat fruit as your first experience rider.
No, don't watch Gaim. Gaim sucks.
It would be fucked up if Kiva was your first rider.
Anyway, that'll do it for today. So join us next time, where we'll discuss Shawn Michaels' Playgirl Centerfold. Ugh.
Ugh.